Oh, hold on a second. What is up, family? So today I got the one and the only. I honestly don't think this man here need any kind of intro. And if you don't know who he is, man, I gotta say you must be living under a rock or something. But he's been all over the place, helping millions of people, changing life. Through real estate investing, from fixing and flipping, from wholesaling, buying rental. Like, this guy does it all. All right. And I'm very excited to bring him on because I want to know a little bit more about his business, kind of his team, his system, what he got going on, and obviously to drop bomb for you guys. So put your hand together. If you enjoy this, please show your boy King Kong, my guest, some love. Boom. Smash the thumbs up. If you're new to the family, you know what to do. Boom. Smash that subscribe button. But help me welcome Jerry Norton. What's going on, player?
Hey, it's great to be here, Khang. Thank you for having me.
Dude, no, thank you so much for jumping on and do this, because I know your time is valuable. You got a lot of stuff going on, man. But, dude, I appreciate you jumping on here so much, man.
I appreciate all you do, too. Thank you for all the work you do for the community. It's great to be able to make friends with you and spend time with you. So I'm excited for this as well.
Thanks, Jerry. So, Jerry, for those that don't know who you are, man, a little bit about your backstory, how you got into real estate, and all that before we actually get into the juicy part.
Okay. Yeah. Almost 20 years now, full-time real estate investor. Started out wholesaling. That's been my roots, my backbone. Love wholesaling. No matter what other things I end up doing, I'm always coming back to wholesaling. I think it's just one of those skills that if you learn how to do it, it's just always there, because whatever exit strategies you decide to do, the deals that don't quite fit that, you wholesale to somebody else who it does fit, and you get those checks. So anyway, it's a phenomenal strategy. Love it to death. Put my heart and soul into that industry over the years, as far as, trying my best to teach people how to do it at a higher level, do it successfully, do it consistently. My big thing is to focus on building a business around that strategy of wholesaling. That way you're not just out there running around, doing a deal here, doing a deal there. But like you mentioned, processes, systems, a team. And it's just amazing. So I started in Metro Detroit almost 20 years ago, started at the low end of the market there in Detroit. So most of these houses were $5,000 and $10,000 homes.
Yeah.
But I never wanted to stay there. So I tried to continually progress. And for me, progressing ended up being less on the volume model and more on the margin model. Not that I didn't do a lot of volume, but I constantly tried to think about, how do I get into the higher price points? Because the higher up you go, what I found was the amount of time, energy, and effort, increases a little bit, but not nearly at the same rate as the income increases, right? So the bigger the deals you do, you take on a little bit more work, maybe a little bit more capital, and maybe it takes a little bit longer or whatever. But I would find that I start making double, triple, quadruple, 10 times the profit margins on those higher end deals. And so that's just been an amazing journey for me to continually progress, still residential real estate, but into the higher price points. And so I started with fix and flipping, and wholesaling, but fix and flipping like starter homes, and then getting into the mid price points and up to the million. And now do some multi-million-dollar flips.
Damn.
Which are really exciting to do. And a little while ago, did my first deal that was $1 million net profit on one flip. And that was a lifelong goal I had for many years. And then once I kind of did that first one, then it seems like that's like the new threshold, right? So now I've done several more. So it's been a fun journey over the past 20 years doing that.
Awesome, man. So, Jerry, dude, I got a ton of questions for you. I think I want to kind of steer in a different direction now, because I get a lot of people asking me about basically the situation, the circumstances on the current real estate situations. And I can't find a perfect person to bring on than you to talk about this. And then after that, dude, I want to talk about residential starting out. Should they focus on the low, the medium, or doing what you're doing?
Gotcha.
So, Jerry, let's talk about what do you think is going to happen with the whole recessions and the real estate market? Do you think it's going to crash, or do you think it's going to take a dip? Like, where we at?
Yeah, great question. And I think this is very relevant. And before I answer that, Khang, I kind of want to take a step back and say to everybody, you have to really embrace this idea that the real estate market shifts and changes. It goes up and it goes down. I'm seeing a lot of people that I coach and students and people in the community, and they're really stressed out. They're really worried. They're worried about their business model not working, and they're worried about a crash and all these different things. And first and foremost, whatever the real estate's doing up or down, we can ride that up and down, right? So I plan on making just as much money or more money if the market dips or crashes, whatever it does, because I'm just going to readjust what I do. People still are going to live in houses. They're still going to trade houses. So there's buying and selling. Whenever there's buying and selling, there's sellers and buyers, which means we have a business.
Yeah.
The way we do it might change, but the model of buying and selling real estate is never going to change, regardless of interest rates, regardless of the economy or any of these other things. So first and foremost, embrace it. I actually think the most successful investors I know, like you, Khang, and others, when the market does a shift, you're like an early implementer, right? Those people that are successful, they adapt quickly. When one door closes, another one opens, and they're ready and waiting. So I'm kind of like excited. I think this is a fun time because I think there's going to be so much opportunity, and I want to be first to those opportunities. So I just kind of wanted to say that first. But second, yeah, I think it's pretty clear that with the interest rates doing what they've done, doubling in the past couple of months, that we're seeing a real slowdown in the market. Now, will that convert to a crash? My personal opinion, I could be wrong, but my personal opinion is no, just because of the fundamentals of supply and demand. Fundamentally, we're still nowhere near meeting the demand in the market with the supply that's available. And so, yeah, we're going to see a slowdown. Yeah, I think we're going to see a reset. I think some markets are going to get hit a lot harder than others. We're going to see that happen. But to the extent of a crash, I honestly don't see that happening. And the driving reason behind that, again, is there's just not enough supply to meet the demand in the marketplace.
Gotcha. So Jerry, I know that with wholesaling, just like you mentioned, we just adjust and adapt, right? We wake up, the market dropped by 10%. Well, you know what? Now you go off of that ARV. So Jerry, I want to now talk about the fix and flipper.
Yeah.
Because when I first started my real estate career, I started out as a fix and flipper. I hated fix and flip. I am, I gotta clap to you, man. And I don't know how you do those multi-million-dollar flip, but I did it for 4.5 years, almost lost everything. It was a nightmare. So I want those of you that in the fix and flip game to understand and to not get wiped out because of what's about to happen in the market. So Jerry, for those that are fix and flipping and doing maybe heavy amount of volume.
Yeah. So here's two things. So I have several flips in the works right now. We've instantly or very quickly adapted the way that we're flipping. So what I want you to think about, if you're a flipper, and even if you're a wholesaler, pay really close attention to this, because if you're wholesaling to flippers, then you also need to understand how they're adjusting their model, because you adjust your model to your end buyer, right? And so flippers, I'm doing two very, very distinct things right now. One is I'm adjusting my ARVs. So normally the way that we determine ARV is we look at historical data. So we look at comps relevant to the property in the same neighborhood that have sold in the past 6 months that are nearby, right? So, but that's historical data, and we use historical data to determine future value. Well, that's fine unless the market corrects. If the market corrects up, then it means, that historical data, you might get more ARV when you go to sell it, 4, 5, 6 months later. That's what's been happening for a lot of people. They go to list it, they get over asking price, boom, you just put more money in your pocket. It's amazing. It's wonderful. But now if it goes the other way, you need to be thinking about that and preparing for that. So what I'm doing is, if I think ARV based on historical data is, let's say 350,000, I'm adjusting down to maybe 325. Or if I think that market, wherever I'm doing that deal, might see a bigger correction, I might go 315. There's one market where I'm looking at a deal that I almost pulled the trigger on, and the historical data was amazing, tons of great comps. But then I looked at on-market actives, and there were like 10 flips. And I know they're flips because they're vacant, they're renovated, they're nice. that are for sale and they're just sitting and they're priced less than the historical comps. So think about that. Sold comps, let's just say 350, actives are at 325 and sitting. So what that's telling me is it's telling me days on market is going up and these are flips that are not selling, which means I can't list my house for 350 when they're not selling at 325 right now. So in something like that, I got to adjust even a little bit bigger. So there's not an exact science to this, but the mindset is more what you need to be thinking about. How do I anticipate a dip in the market? I got to go in today thinking that in 6 months, it could sell for less. So that's step number one. Step number two is we've been getting away with really nominal rehabs. Like I've been doing a ton of wholesaling where I don't do anything. I've been doing a ton of lipstick on a pig where we leave the kitchen. We maybe do some carpet and paint, but getting away with all kinds of stuff that we never used to get away with.
Yep.
We're going to go back to traditional fix and flip where the nicest house is going to win. So if you want to win the game, and there's a lot of listings, there's a lot of actives, your house will sell, but it better be top notch. So now we're going back to replacing everything, new cabinets, new everything. You know, that roof that was like 10 years old, maybe we can get away with that. Nope, let's put a new roof on. So I'm creating much bigger budgets on my rehab. So bringing ARV down, bringing my rehab budgets up, and then I'm just going to keep going right through this whole thing and not be worried about it and still make good money and still flip houses.
Nice. Now, Jerry, I also get people saying, hey, Khang, is this a good time to buy and hold? Because the market, yeah. What's your take?
Question. So, yeah, so it's very interesting with the interest rates. It means we're pushing people out of affordability, right? Because if at 3%, your payment was $2,000, at 6%, your payment's $3,000. Those are roughly the numbers. So what does that mean? It means someone that could buy at a 3% interest rate now can't buy. So rental demand has gone up really high, but yet the rental increases are still consistently below the demands, right? Because it's interesting. I've talked to a lot of buy and hold guys, and I'm not a big buy and hold guy, but they're like, Jerry, you know, I'm at 2,000. I know I can get 2,500, but if I raise rent on my existing tenant from 2,000 to 2,500, they may leave. And now I got a vacancy. I got to do some paint. I got to do blah, blah, blah. So we're going to increase it a little bit, maybe 2,200, and still know that we're below, you know, market rate. And then if and when it goes vacant, then we'll try to get back to like the new rates. So what that means is it means the rental rates are going up, but the demand for rentals is really high, and it's going to continue to be high. And we're not creating new affordable housing nearly at the rate we need to, meaning apartments and new rental property. So I think the buy and hold model is very strong. If you're a wholesaler, continue wholesaling to buy and hold, because I think that opportunity is going to hold strong.
Love it. Now, dude, I got so much question for you. So Jerry and Jerry, all these questions are coming from people that comes in and asks. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to ask Jerry and let him give his opinion. So Jerry, I get people that are starting out, you know, having like 10 or 20,000. They always say, hey, Khang, what should I do with 10 or 20,000?
I got a little visitor.
Yes, I know. You got what, Jerry? You got what? 8 kids?
10.
Holy smoke, bro! You got 10 kids.
Yeah.
And
so
now, Jerry. So do you live like in Puerto Rico and actually wholesale here in the U.S. or what?
Yeah. So I live in Puerto Rico about 8 months out of the year.
Oh wow!
And we have a lake house in Montana.
All that
in the summer. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yep. I love it, man. So. So Jerry, man, bro. So back to the question. It's like that 10, like someone got 10 or 20K. Like they always want to know. So Khang, like, where should I start and what should I do with that?
Yeah, I love this question. And in fact, my personal opinion is someone that's coming into the business, someone new, that's got 10 or 20,000 or whatever. The worst thing they could do would be to just dump that into the business right out of the gate. And the reason why I feel that way is because if you don't have some systems and some processes dialed in, then you're going to mismanage that money. What most people do is they'll dump it into direct mail or cold calling or something. and they'll spend that $10,000 or $20,000, and then they can't manage those leads effectively because they don't have processes in place, and they end up wasting that money or not maximizing that money. So what I try to tell people is, man, get your first couple of deals done following some zero marketing cost strategies.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of them, right?
Yep.
I really like on market. You don't pay anything because it's coming from an agent. There's other things like driving for dollars and stuff. So I think people should be very careful about overspending on marketing. I'd rather see people spend, if they've got some capital, on some coaching. There's some systems and there's some things you need to do, right? There's a good CRM and good systems, and start with some leads, but just be really careful that whatever money you're spending, especially if it's marketing, that you're ready for the leads, that you can manage the lead flow, convert those leads into deals. Yep. That's the point.
Gotcha. Now, Jerry, what about those that are starting out, haven't done any deals, but they're like, hey, Khang, I really want to hear your take on this, Jerry. Khang, I want to hire some VAs to do the work for me. So what's your take on that, Jerry?
Yeah, well, honestly, if you think about all the different ways that you can generate leads and talk to sellers, when it comes to that communication between you and a seller, my personal opinion is cold calling, where you get a live person on the phone with that seller. There's nothing that's going to be more effective than that. Maybe in person would be more effective, right? But that's going to be direct mail. It's going to be texting. It's going to be a lot of other strategies. And in, today, 2022, it's amazing how inexpensively we can do cold calling. Yep. I mean, right, you mentioned a VA. So virtual assistants, I mean, it's still a cost, right? But for the cost of getting one person, start with one, getting two, getting three people that can be on the phones, and these virtual assistants, these overseas labor, I mean, they outwork any American I've ever seen. Like, they'll be on the phone all day and they don't get tired, and they keep going, and they're amazing. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I think that is the most powerful thing you can do, is to get the right VA, get them a nice script, get them some good leads, and let them get on the phones. The way we do it is we have the VAs just do the cold calling. Basically, they're just looking for an opportunity. They're looking for someone to say, yes, I'm interested in selling. They'll pre-qualify it a little bit, but then once they pre-qualify it, then that goes over to your acquisitions person who's going to close that. But man, that is, I think, the biggest bang for your buck is cold calling.
Gotcha. Great, man. So Jerry, so do you think someone that is starting out, should they try to learn and do this all by themselves first, get that first deal or two deals? Or if they have the capital, do you think they can go ahead and actually hire people and put systems? What's your take?
Great question. So I think definitely if you've got a little bit of capital, and what's amazing is it doesn't take that much money. What I suggest people do is start with one cold caller. Get that cold caller spending 8 to 10 hours a day on the phones. So you got to figure out, how many leads is that? Get those leads, get it skip trace, get that list to that cold caller. Then you close. I think every wholesaler needs to learn how to close. If you're not good on the phones, learn how to get good on the phones. If you don't know sales, learn sales. Sure, you can outsource that. You can hire someone, but man, I think you're being lazy and you're skipping a critical skill set that you're going to need for your entire life. Yep. It's going to pay itself over and over and over again. So you close, don't you cold call. This is the first thing I tell people, man, do not cold call, because for $5, $6, $7, $8 an hour or whatever you're paying for your cold caller, you can get a VA who's going to do it better than you can anyway, because you're going to get tired and take breaks, and they're not, right? And let them do that. You're worth more than $8 an hour, $5 an hour, right? You let the cold caller do that. You spend your time now closing those leads from the cold caller. And then when you're ready, the next step would be replace yourself on the phones, closing with an acquisitions person. Usually at the point, what I found is you can have about 3 cold callers, 1 full-time acquisitions person. And now you've got, I think at that point, you can get to the 3 to 5 deals a month, 3 cold callers, 1 closer, and you're 3 to 5 deals a month. If your average deal's 10, 15,000, you got a very profitable business
Yep.
for not very much cost.
Absolutely. So you guys, let me touch base on what Jerry just said. Like, you know, try to build a lean, mean machines. Like, don't look at other people like they have big, like, you know, the whole thing with me and the wife is obviously low overhead and how can we just maximize the profit. And until you're in a bigger group of people that are doing way more than you, then you really understand it really all comes down to profit. So, you know, so I'm in a mastermind called CG, which is Collective Genius. And I tell you, I'm probably the guy that probably does the least amount of deals in there. But when it comes to overhead, I'm the guy that have the least overhead because our whole team is like VAs, we're all virtual. I don't have an office space.
Yeah.
Some of these guys and gals, they have big office space. They have big team where they're paying them 100,000 plus a year. Right?
Dude, I love that you're saying this. I mean, you are speaking my language now, Khang, because I'm all virtual, no offices, no W-2. I don't have any W-2 employees.
Love it.
All 1099, all contract labor, mostly virtual assistants. I'm such a big believer in that. I mean, I want to run my businesses at a 70% profit margin. That's what we do. So we run, here's what I do, Khang. Every month, my bookkeeper runs our P&L. And we sit down once a month and I go through every single line item and I ask, what is this? Why are we spending money on this? Do we need it? Is it absolutely critical? I don't care if it's $10. We cut it. Wow. I want to run so lean. I look at these guys and I know a lot of them. I'm really good friends with them. And I go to their offices and there's like screaming overhead, all these people everywhere. I'm like, what do you do? What do you do? What is all these people doing? Like stresses me right out, you know? Yeah, but I'm not the big team guy like you. I want a lean, mean team. I want people that know what their job is. They're self-motivated. I don't have any employee management crap. There's no like, I got to motivate somebody. If you're not motivated, you're not the right person. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I love that style of business.
Wow. You got, man, it seems like I'm talking to the right person. Because listen to me, when I first started my business, you know, Jerry, I look at people with office space because it's way more sexy. Listen to me. It's way more sexy with what Jerry and I are doing because it's way more sexy. They have office space. They got employee. They got desk. They got Apple laptop all over the place, right?
Yeah.
It's very sexy and it's very appealing because you think that's how you are a business owner and how you operate. Now, listen, I'm not saying that way is right or Jerry and my way is right or wrong. You just have to choose which one the best fit for the lifestyle that you want to create it. Because I got carried away when I first got into this business thinking that is successful. I have an office. I got to have a big team. I want to feel like a boss. I want to feel like a bit, you know, but then I start to realize, man, I start to realize very, very quick that my wife and I got into real estate, not just because for the money, but because for the freedom. Like I want to be able to like Jerry texted me and say, hey, Khang, come here, right? Spend like a month. And then my wife and I would be able to drop because we don't have an office space. We don't have anywhere that we need to be. Everything is just operate completely virtual. And that's why, Jerry, when people tell me they want to open like a brick and mortar, I like brick and mortar. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. Shit. This is 2022, baby. Yeah. But there's many business ideas that you can create that is virtual, right? So, and until you start hanging around with these big cats that are doing a lot more, but they have a lot of overhead and they share with you. And then you start to realize, okay, I'm on the right track, right? Because a lot of them in CG, just like what Jerry said, like he has friends, same thing. They're in there, they got these big expense overhead. And sometimes to me, Jerry, like you're so into it, it's hard for you to get out of it because you got so many people depending on you already. That's hard for you to like start cutting stuff off.
It's funny you say that. So I'm really close friends with a very successful real estate investor. If I said his name, everybody would know who he is. And I said to him, here in Montana, I've got my lake house, and then I bought another one 2 doors down. And that one, I just invite friends and family. It's like busy all summer long. In fact, Khang, come out to Montana. You can stay in my house.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Seriously, or Puerto Rico. I do the same thing in Puerto Rico. I've got a condo right on the water. All I use it for is friends and family. Yep. So I invite him. I say, hey, come on out. Like there's this 2-week window at the end of July, 1st of August. We're going to be here. Come out. It'll be so fun. We'll go to Glacier National Park. I'll take you out on my boat every day. And he's like, dude, man, that sounds awesome, but I can't. I'm like, what do you mean you can't? He's like, I gotta be at the office every day. I gotta be running my team. I got so much going on. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's summer. I'm talking about a mountain lake house in Montana. Bring your family. What are you doing? I don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
for me, it's all about lifestyle.
Love it.
If you're not focusing, if the money is a means to an end and the end is your lifestyle, because that's all you have. At the end of the day, what are you going to look, you're going to look back and say, man, I worked 80 hours a week. That's not what I want for a legacy.
Same here. Same here. Love it, Jerry. Okay, Jerry, I know, dude, we got to wrap up pretty quick. So Jerry, just a quick breakdown of, I want to know, like, how many percentage are you fix and flipping? How many percentage are you wholesaling? I know you're not big into the buy and hold, but yeah, just give me like a rough percentage, dude. Love to know that.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say I'm a little heavier on the fix and flip than I am on the wholesale. In fact, the way I run my business is we target the ideal fix and flip deals. So I believe everybody needs to learn how to be an acquisition engineer, meaning you know how to source and find your own deals. I think the worst thing a fix and flipper could do would be to not learn that skill. And then they have to rely on other wholesalers to bring them deals. That's fine. But when you learn how to find your own deals, you get all the meat on the bone, not just some of the meat on the bone. So what we do is we do our own acquisitions. We target the ideal fix and flip deals, but that deal has to be what I would call a home run deal. I'm not going to tie up my bandwidth of capital and time, effort, and energy, my team, right, to rehab a house if it's not going to be a great deal, make really good money. Everybody's definition of that might be different, but just think baseball and think home run. Well, what happens naturally is I get a lot of singles, doubles, and triples where they're okay deals. They're marginal. I could make some money if I flip it, but it's just not worth tying up all my bandwidth on it. Those I wholesale. So I've got this model where we generate leads. We look for the home run. If we get a home run, we take it down, we fix and flip it. If not, then we wholesale it.
Got it.
And it's just been a phenomenal model because it just allows me to continue wholesaling deals on the side, but always looking for that great home run deal. And so that's kind of the model that I try to follow. And then I try to do 3 to 6 super high end deals. So these would be, it used to be 3 to 5 million. Now it's more like 5 to 7 million on the sale price yeah. So that could be new construction or rehab. Gotcha. And so I try to do a handful of those.
Yeah. Got it. Got it. So Jerry, currently right now, 2022, man, what is the best lead source for you on deals? What's the best, dude?
Well, this may sound strange to some people, but I do really, really good with on market. Now it's a little unfair because I've been doing on market for a long time. And so I've invested in a lot of relationships with agents. And now those agents, they bring me leads. Most of the time they just call me and they've got great deals. And so that's been through a lot of effort of building those relationships. But that has been by far my best lead source. Someone brand new, you're gonna have to put in that effort to build those relationships, because what happens is when you train an agent how to do a pocket listing, they'll call you before they list those deals.
Yep.
And then you pick up the deal without competition. It's not listed yet. And those are the best deals ever because you don't pay for that lead. The agent's happy because they're getting a full commission. They don't have to go on market with that distressed property. Seller's happy because they're getting their price. Everybody wins. So that's one of my favorite. If we go off market, my favorite that I love is tired landlords. And the reason why is because they're an investor. So you can cut all of the emotional crap out of the conversation, right? So there's no crying on your shoulder. There's no like, yeah, and that's fine. Like, I just love that I can deal with another investor and we can cut all the crap. We can get right to the number. If the number works, they'll sell it. We get a deal. We move on, right? There's not all of that discovery and what's your motivation and why are you in a distressed situation? And, you know, I got to build rapport for an hour before we even talk about the house, all of that, right? Like you have to do that.
Yep.
Dealing with a regular seller. but not a tired landlord. A tired landlord's like, I'm sick of this property. I want to get rid of it. You just cut right to it, right?
Love it. You guys, one thing I gotta really point out about Jerry that I really respect is that this cat here is a true go-giver, and he has the mindset of abundant. And let me tell you why. Because he don't look at people as competitions. I see him bring all kinds of real estate investor onto his big YouTube channel and giving them exposure with us asking nothing back. And man, Jerry, I respect you so much for that, because I know there are investors out there, right? That's like, oh, I can't bring him on. I can't bring her on because of this, because of that. But bro, dude, respect, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Now, Jerry, when I first started my journey too, man, networking with realtors has got me a lot of deals. Now, for those that are starting out, Jerry, how do they build relationship with these agents? Because a lot of times they're like, I'm not successful. I haven't done anything. So they don't feel that confident to go do, obviously, to build. So yeah, tips.
Yeah. So, and by the way, if you'd like, I can give you some free scripts for how to talk to these agents. You could share those with your following if you'd like.
Sure.
But the main thing that I think you do is, what you don't want to do is you don't want to call an agent out of the blue and just say, hey, I'm an investor. If you get a deal, let me know. What I think you do is, when a new lead comes out on market, so it gets listed as an active, you know it's distressed because you're looking at it and it's just run down. So you know it's a distressed property. Maybe it's priced kind of low. That is the excuse to then call the listing agent. So you call unrepresented, you call that listing agent, you say, hey, I see your brand new active listing here. Looks like a distressed property. I'm an investor. I pay all cash, or me and my partners and investors pay cash. And I'd like to make an offer, and I'd like to make my offer through you. That way you get both sides of the commission. So it's an excuse to have the conversation. It's never about the deal you're calling about. Like, maybe you get that deal and that's amazing, but that's not the point. If that happens, that's like gravy. The point is the conversation and the relationship. So then I'll give my price maybe, and we'll make the offer, and maybe I get it, maybe I don't get it. But the most important thing is I say to that agent, hey, I plan on doing dozens of deals in this market. When you get a distressed property like this one, call me before you list it. I'll give you my offer. I'll make it super convenient and easy. And that's the point. So if you do that enough times, I think if you have about 25, maybe 30 agents in your market, whatever market you're in, that are open to that like that idea, that want to get both sides of the commission, right? They're investor friendly. They get distressed properties. Those agents that get distressed properties, they're going to get another one and another one. And one agent might turn into 5, 10, 15 deals a year. That one agent, it's a repeat lead source that you don't pay for. It's the best thing ever, right? They do the work. They talk to the sellers. They get these deals. And then if you have that relationship, they'll bring them to you. And so I think that's the way you start. Just start calling agents that have active listings, and they'll now want to talk to you. Now you make that offer, you build a relationship, and it's an ongoing thing that you create now.
Super smart. Jerry, I love it, man. And so you guys, we're wrapping up. I know, Jerry, I know a lot of you are going to say this. So Khang, where can I get Jerry's script? So here's what you're going to do. All right. So you're going to email me at WTMfam@gmail.com. WTMfam, which stands for Wholesale to Million, WTMfam@gmail.com. I'll get the script from Jerry. Yep. And then Jerry give it, and then everyone that DM just put in there Jerry Norton realtor script or something like that, and we'll make sure that you guys get that. Jerry, thank you so much, man. Once again, man, I'm telling you, this guy's a true go-giver. Jerry, thank you so much for that. For everyone that's watching, man, they appreciate it. So on behalf of everybody, man, thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for all you do as well, Khang. Really appreciate you put out so much content to the community. You've helped so many people. So thank you as well.
Jerry, absolutely. So Jerry, how can people connect with you, man? Where can they get a hold of the real Jerry Norton? Because I know there's a lot of fake one out there.
I know. Yeah. In fact, the scammers on Instagram are driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Duplicate accounts. I'm very active on my YouTube channel. I try to personally read and respond to as many of those comments as I can on there, because it lets me really connect with people and see where they're where they're struggling and what needs they have and questions and stuff. So yeah, definitely there. But I am on Instagram and Facebook and all those places. But yeah, love to connect with you.
Cool. Jerry, you're not on TikTok?
Yeah, we're on TikTok as well.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
I think that's the real Jerry Norton or something like that.
Okay.
I gotta check. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Jerry, I mean,
I'm not good like you though on TikTok.
no, stop it. Hey, Jerry, are we going to see you dance on TikTok, dude? So you guys, for those of you, I'll make sure I leave all of Jerry's link right below in the descriptions. Maybe Jerry get enough followers that you guys come there and just hit him up on TikTok. Maybe he'll bust a move.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, you guys, Jerry, thank you so much for being here. Everyone that's watching, thank you so much. And if you enjoy this, you have any questions, once again, comment down below and then go give my man Jerry a follow on all of his social media. Thank you so much, Jerry, and everyone, thank you so much. But until next time, take care and ciao. Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, bro.